Welcome to Setting the Stage. I'm Brooke Savage. Pretty Woman, the musical, is coming to the King Center in Brevard County next week before it makes its way to Peabody Auditorium in Daytona Beach. Jack Rasmussen plays Edward in the show, the wealthy businessman. He is here to tell us all about it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So, first off, I usually start off with where are you from and how did you get into acting?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Illinois, just outside of Chicago, and I found my way into acting. I had a fantastic middle school music director named Steve Tavis, who, after my less than success on the football field, he gave me the offer, "Hey, come on, try out for the musical." We were doing Scrooge. I played Bob Cratchit, and then after that, that was seventh grade, and I've been hooked ever since.
Well, I love that. What did you do after that? Like, did you go to college for acting? Like, tell us a little bit more about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to New York City to study musical theater there. So I spent time both studying acting and musical theater, which was a phenomenal experience. Then I've been in New York City as a working actor since, and now here on the road with Pretty Woman, which has just been such a phenomenal experience so far.
And what made you want to audition for a musical based off such an iconic movie?
Well, when it comes to a musical, you really can't ask for a better foundation than something as iconic as a movie like Pretty Woman. I mean, it's phenomenal. We've got obviously these beautiful performances by Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. You have these amazing, amazing costumings and these iconic lines, many of which you'll see right there in the musical if you do come on by to the show. So, I mean, it just really is the perfect foundation to build a really great show. And we can tell that the audience loves it too, which is always so much fun for us.
And how do you relate to your character? Are you a wealthy businessman?
Yeah, as it turns out, if you would believe it, I am not, in fact, currently operating in the C-suite of any companies that I'm aware of. But I do feel like there's a lot that people can relate to in Edward. When you meet him originally, he really is in the spot of being a little more closed off, a little more conservative, very much stiff, a little buttoned up. And then throughout the course of the show, he meets this beautiful woman who's able to really start to pull these moments of fun and of freedom out of him. And so it's about being more ready for love than you realized you were and finding it in the place you least expected, which is phenomenal.
That is so true. What I love about shows is all the behind the scenes stuff. What is some of the behind the scenes tidbits you could share?
I think that one of the things that with this show that I think makes it so unique is that such an important piece of it is the fashion, the costuming, and you can see it, in the role that's being shown here. But there are amazing, amazing costuming that our wardrobe team has put together, and with that, there's almost always somebody quick changing in and out of something backstage. I think everybody in the show has at least four costumes. I think I personally wear six different suits through the course of the production. So we're always backstage scrambling from one to the next, but it's, part of the thing that keeps the excitement going every night.
I've often heard that there's a lot of choreography going on, like behind the stage itself, because of all the quick changes and sets moving and things like that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's just as choreographed as the dances are by now. It's this shirt and this button and this pant and this shoe and all that. 100%. We've got it down to a science because some of them are quick enough where that's the only option.
What else can people expect from the show?
I mean, the number one thing, obviously there's the nostalgia of the film that is just so baked in there. So if you've seen the movie and you're kind of looking for some of those iconic lines, it's all going to be right in there in the way that you're expecting to see. But if you're not familiar with the film or if it's been a little while since you've seen it, number one is that this musical is a ton of fun. There's big, big dance numbers. There's beautiful music written by Brian Adams and Jim Valance that we just love to sing every night. And it's also very fun. There's a lot of great dialogue that's quite funny. It's very witty. It goes back and forth. And there's that character chemistry that, of course, is the number one thing that people love to see.
Yeah, from the video we just saw, it looks like a really fun show. What's your favorite part of the show?
For me, it's always going to be the opera scene. So similar to the movie, the Vivian and Edward go to the opera together, and they see a little snippet of the show La Traviata, and then there's this big opera box. She of course wears the iconic red dress. There's the moment with the necklace and the box and all of that. But then the lights kind of dim a little bit. They shift over, and Edward sings this song called "You and I," which is just about his journey. Is kind of the pinnacle of their romance together. And me personally, it's my favorite song in the show, and I'm just lucky that I get to sing it.
Wow. What else? Like, what is some of the feedback you've gotten from the show? Like, do you meet with fans after the show and hear from them?
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun to come out to the stage door and see people. We've had a number of folks come by who are aspiring actors of their own, whether they're in high school or they're young or something like that. It's always so much fun if they ask for advice or moments of little tidbits that we can give them. Is always a really special experience.
That is really interesting. I feel like that plays into like how this show and the movie is kind of like multi-generational, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's always a lot of fun for us to see what reactions we get, number by number, song by song. We can tell when it's a crowd that really, really knows and loves the movie, because there are those some little lines that are true, direct lifts as they go through, and when those get big reactions, we know we've got a movie crowd in the house.
Absolutely. What is the main message you hope people take away from the show?
It's a little bit like I said earlier, that there are times in your life where you don't realize that you're ready for love, that you don't realize that you're ready for a new experience, and to stay open and to stay not necessarily expectant, but ready for those things, even when you don't necessarily expect them.
Is there any other changes has the show made any changes? Because like you said, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I don't know if certain things have to be like updated or not.
Totally. On the whole, I think the core of the film really, really stays so nicely, because even though the film was 35 years old, Vivian is such a remarkable protagonist. She is so strong and so intelligent and so fun and so vibrant that most of that we didn't really feel needed to be updated at all. That she slots right into the world here in 2025 just as well as she did in 1990. The biggest difference, of course, is that we do obviously break into song and dance occasionally. Would be the number one thing you'll notice.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you want to bring up about the show?
I feel like we've covered most of it. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. It's a big party on stage, and the last thing that we always need are the people coming into the house. They're just as much a part as we are, and it's always the last character to join the show is the audience, and we're always excited to have them.
Oh, awesome. Well, again, the show is coming to the King Center next week in Brevard. That's in Brevard County, and then it'll be at Peabody Auditorium in Daytona Beach. I also posted the details on clickorlando.com/setting the stage. Jack, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Been a pleasure.
Yeah, have a great day.
You as well. Much appreciated.